Finally, the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer has finally been released after weeks of fan anticipation, and it did not disappoint. With the leaked footage from last night giving us a glimpse into what we can expect, fans were able to break apart some of the widely anticipated plot details and examine the current state of not only the MCU, but Peter's personal life as well. Now that the full trailer has been released in all its glory, however, we have much more to unpack in a much higher quality. So without wasting any time, let's dive straight into it. Welcome back to the channel, watchers of the Marvel Multiverse, and this is my breakdown for Spider-Man No Way Home. It's finally here, we did it. And by we did it, I mean we waited, but it's here. The trailer opens on a shot of Peter and MJ's relationship seemingly going strong, as MJ reads through the various rumors and stories regarding Peter's alleged powers and abilities as Spider-Man. His dialogue hints that he is taking refuge from a chaotic world that now knows his true identity. We hear the voiceover of J.K. Simmons, J. Jonah Jameson, seemingly taking the lead of the Spider-Man slander as he is widely known to do in the comics and previously established Spider-Man media. And with any luck, J.K. Simmons will be allowed to return in full form, slandering Spider-Man across New York for all the world to see. We see Peter next being interrogated by police regarding the alleged murder of Mysterio. Peter claims that he was killed by the drones, to which the interrogating officer responds by reminding Peter that the drones are in fact his. For all intents and purposes, it seems that this interrogation is not going well, and many have theorized that this may be where Charlie Cox makes his resurgence as Daredevil in the MCU. However, neither Cox nor any indication of Daredevil exists in the trailer as of yet, save for one shot, where you can look briefly in the background and see an individual wearing a similar outfit to one that Daredevil wore in his television show. That's about it. Charlie Cox himself obviously does not appear as Daredevil. As of now, this is still speculation, but given what else we've seen in the trailer, it's becoming an increasingly likely possibility, but more on that in just a minute. Following this sequence, Marvel gives us a few shots of Peter living with the ramifications, with heads turning wherever he goes, and MJ seemingly being as supportive as she can. His school life and social life have quite obviously taken a massive hit, and we see a few shots of his school environment and the ridicule that comes with it. In the simplest possible explanation, Peter's life appears to be an absolute shambles. In the media, being led by J. Jonah Jameson at the forefront and hounding him for the brutal murder of Mysterio, we hear the voiceover of some of J.K. Simmons' slanderous claims as Peter traverses a chaotic New York, and there is evidence to suggest that the Daily Bugle has a substantial following. Leaked posters from the No Way Home set a few months back seem to hint at a social divide, with much of the population of New York siding with Spidey and supporting him in his fight, while others believe him to be a ruthless killer who murdered Mysterio in cold blood, and Peter is seemingly set to be caught in the center of this warring conflict. Spider-Man, friend or foe. As a direct result, Peter pays a visit to the Sanctum Sanctorum, where we see the first glimpse of Benedict Cumberbatch reprising his role as none other than Doctor Strange, and the two share some quick banter, as is common for MCU properties. It's important to note that the Sanctum Sanctorum appears rather ashy, with a white-gray layer of what appears to be snow covering most of the sanctum. Doctor Strange and Wong are both in winter clothing, though that doesn't quite explain why there is snow inside the sanctum itself. But with everything else we see, this is not the most important detail to dissect right now. The interaction starts with Peter calling Doctor Strange Sir repeatedly, to which Doctor Strange replies, "We are beyond you calling me sir," and Peter in return calls Doctor Strange by Steven. After a comedic beat, Strange responds that he feels weird but I'll allow it, before returning to the more dramatic content at hand. Peter directly asks for Strange to create a world in which Mysterio never revealed Spider-Man's identity, and it is possible that No Way Home may take plotlines from the infamous One More Day storyline from the comics. Though this arc was widely panned by fans and is most often regarded as one of the worst Spider-Man stories, this would not be the first time that the MCU has alluded to a widely hated storyline while still crafting a compelling narrative of their own. In Endgame, for example, when Captain America is stealing the scepter from the S.H.I.E.L.D. strike force, he uses the iconic Hail Hydra line to get them to leave the scepter with him. This was a direct nod to Captain America Steve Rogers #1. In which it was revealed that Steve Rogers, Captain America himself, had been a sleeper agent for Hydra for years. This is widely regarded as one of Captain America's worst moments on the pages of Marvel Comics, yet the MCU was able to allude to it without destroying their own story. Is it possible that No Way Home could do something similar? In the One More Day storyline, Aunt May is severely wounded by a sniper at the behest of Kingpin, and in order to save her life, Peter makes a deal with Mephisto. After having his identity revealed at the end of the Civil War arc, he elects to sacrifice his marriage with Mary Jane and the memory of his identity to save Aunt May's life. This came with a catch, however, as if anyone were ever to find out Spider-Man's identity, the memories of everything that Mephisto had reset would return, adding another layer of tension to the idea of having Spider-Man's identity revealed in the future, and planting stakes to the story that the threat of Peter Parker's identity being revealed again having much more dire consequences the next time around. Strange talks about a spell, which Wong adamantly warns against. This spell seems to be a spell that would not only wipe the memories of everyone who knew Peter was Spider-Man, but would include his closest friends as well as Aunt May. In the midst of the spell, Peter asks Doctor Strange to allow Ned, MJ, and Aunt May to retain the memories of everything that happened, something which Strange supposedly cannot do. The severity of these ramifications as well would be detrimental to Peter's life. For the first 2 movies in his trilogy, he's had somebody to fall back on, be it Ned, MJ, or Aunt May. He's always had an emotional outlet to help him cope with the stress of leading a double life. And if this spell wipes their memories as well, then he's left to once again be completely alone with his secret. Many have even speculated that this is how the film will end, with no one knowing that Peter Parker is Spider-Man and him having to recreate his relationships that he worked so hard for. The mental toll that this might take on Peter having to not only live with this responsibility, but with the consequences that being Spider-Man has may be severe on Peter in the long run. One of the prevalent themes of Spider-Man Homecoming was how being Spider-Man impacts Peter's friendships and relationships. The ones Peter loves often gets caught in the crossfire of his double life, with Liz Toombs being the premier victim of his conflict in Tom Holland's first solo outing. Peter's life as Spider-Man hurt Liz incredibly badly, seeing as he couldn't disclose the reasons for constantly disappearing and seemingly abandoning her outright. With MJ, Ned, and Aunt May aware of his identity, he can not only explain his absences in depth and be understood, but he can also have them talk to him about the stresses of being Spider-Man, and they could provide a healthy outlet for that stress. We not only see this with MJ in the trailer, but he even asks specifically about her and everything they've been through. Now, MJ appears to be the next in line to be severely hurt by Peter's double life, as she may have the entirety of their experiences together erased from her memory. Without this, Peter is left again to suffer alone, and hurt the people that he cares about with his secrecy. Now though, for the multiversal segment that so many have been adamantly anticipating, let's break down this portion of the trailer. Doctor Strange talks about how tampering with the laws of space-time may lead to disastrous consequences. The final shots include a bolt of yellow lightning, which many speculate could be the latest iteration of Electro, played again by Jamie Foxx. Foxx famously revealed that he wouldn't be blue in this one, but the next 2 shots include the iconic pumpkin bomb of Norman Osborn's Green Goblin, as they were depicted in the Raimi trilogy, all the way back to when Willem Dafoe took on the role, but the final shot is perhaps the most widely talked about of the entire trailer. After a mechanical claw digs into the concrete, we are given a shot of Alfred Molina's Doc Ock in all of his glory. All signs point to this not only being the same iteration of Doc Ock as the Raimi trilogy, but coming directly from Spider-Man 2. As far from what we can tell, the de-aging technology that Marvel has used on the likes of Samuel L. Jackson and Clark Gregg has also been applied to Molina. In terms of other big moments in the trailer, we see Spider-Man as well as Doctor Strange traveling on some sort of train, with Strange actually multiplying the train that they're traveling on in order for Peter to be allowed to swing through it, as well as the return as the Iron Spider suits, as well as Happy Hogan, who appears to be under attack, potentially being taken under custody after Spider-Man's identity has been revealed. The biggest things that are going on in the trailer though obviously happen on the highway. Briefly though, let's go back to the de-aging technology. While various speculative quotes have hinted at the use of de-aging technology to return Alfred Molina back to his physical appearance from 2004, this is the first time we can see it in full effect. Many have questioned why Marvel and Sony would allow a shot of Molina in the trailer, and why they wouldn't save the reveal for the movie itself. But we believe that the answer lies in the state of the world. Under normal circumstances, Marvel and Sony likely would have saved the reveal for the movie itself. But as we all know, we are living in circumstances that are far from normal, with movie theaters only briefly making a return now after the calamity that was coronavirus. It makes sense that Marvel and Sony are working to repopulate the theaters as quickly and as thoroughly as normal, and revealing the prospect of a multiversal crossover is just the way to do it. In terms of other things to note, we can actually hear the Green Goblin laugh from the Sam Raimi trilogy when the pumpkin bomb is dropped off on the highway, with the pumpkin bomb being my personal biggest moment from the trailer, as the Green Goblin was a character that gave me nightmares as a child. I do think though that a more updated version of Electro is also something fun to look forward to. Other big things to note, it has been rumored that Tobey Maguire will pursue a Spider-Man 4 in the Sony universe, with us actually getting a complete end to Tobey Maguire's story with Sam Raimi hopefully helming Spider-Man 4 yet again. As we learn more about Spider-Man No Way Home, be sure to stay tuned on the channel as we'll be covering it all extensively. But anyway, my friends, what do you think of this trailer? Did it live up to your expectations, or do you wish you could have seen something else? This will not be the only breakdown we do on this trailer, this is just the first thoughts and reactions to cover the trailer as a whole. If there is any particular aspect you'd like us to cover, be sure to let us know in the comments below. Anyway, my friends, thank you guys so much for the constant support on the YouTube channel, it means the world. Hit that subscribe button to assemble and join our team, and have a great day.